Hello, and welcome to Lord Fenton Gaming Plays the Bards Trilogy. I'm your host, Lord Fenton. Today's Don't Panic guide, we're going to guide the new players into the Bards Trilogy from the very first game, briefly in the second game, and briefly in the third game. This video will mainly cover the first game, which is your baby steps version. This game was created in 1986, and then last year it was remastered for today's computer, and boy, the developers and NXL Entertainment did a great job of that. You can use the A team, however, this video guide we're not really going to use it. And also I'll cover steps in the video too. Right here you're seeing the party inventory. That's a new thing they added in the remastered edition. In the old games, you had to carry each item on every character. And in the new games, gold is pooled together. Now, the older games, you're playing legacy mode, everybody has their own gold pile, their item piles, and etc. etc. Now, after I am done showing everybody the A team, let's get to the real meat and bones soon, which is the classes. When you create your new party, you should know the races and classes combination first. So, male and female optional. You can have all male party, all female party. You can have even numbers, you can have odd numbers in that. Still, let's talk about the races. Now, humans are balanced. They don't excel in anything. However, they can become all the classes in the game. That is right. Now, elves are more magically inclined, so they're a little bit more giving spell points. However, they cannot be the hunter at all, unfortunately. Next up is the dwarves. They're more of a melee type of race. They cannot be casters at all. However, they're very strong. Now, hobbits are more dexterous. However, they cannot become paladins nor hunters. Yet, they're great for bards and rogues. Half-elves are like elves, except for one thing. They lose the paladin and the hunter thing, unfortunately. They're alright, but they're not great, really. Next up is the half-orc. They are really strong, however, they do not resist magic much. And they're very limited to the warrior, rogue, hunter, conjurer, and mage. No bard, no paladin, and no monk. Gnomes finally are more magically inclined. They get more spell points than elves. And they're great too for caster classes. Unfortunately, you cannot become bards. So let's go over the classes. Now, first up is the warrior. They're a very strong melee class. Yes, they are. They equip most of the weapons and armor in the game. They have multiple attacks every 4 levels, which is really great. They hit hard. Now, if you're playing up to the Bards Tale 3, these guys are perfect candidates for the Geomancer. More on that prestige class later on. But still, they're great. Now, paladins are like warriors, except for they cannot equip the certain weapons and armor that warriors can equip. However, they have exclusive weapons and armor, and they have some nice resistance against evil magic. These guys are absolutely the perfect candidate. I do mean perfect for the Geomancer in Bards Tale 3. I use them all the time, Paladin. They're my frontline fighters along with the warrior too. So those two classes are frontline fighters. So after we are done with the Paladin, the next class we are going to look up is the Rogue class. They're your frontline fighters, however, they are limited to certain weapons and armor. However, they could hide in shadows, disarm traps, and identify items. The more levels they have, more better luck they could do that, especially with the disarm traps. And some modifiers in dungeons. Now, hide in shadows, they hide in shadows. They get out of shadows to attack. They can instantly kill an enemy. Now, if you keep on hiding, it adds 10 meters per hide per round. So, 9 rounds of hiding, 9 rounds later, they have 90 meters to kill any enemies from a distance. Very great for Bards Tale 2 and 3. 1 I will not recommend unless you do the 1 through 7 slot for now. So next up is Bard. Very important class. 1 is required for this game, thus the name the Bard's Tale. They're like fighters, however their magic they could cast is in the form of songs. Song charges are by levels, so if you have a level 5 bar, you have 5 charges in songs before you have to go to a bar to drink. However, their songs includes AC, hit points, and more. Now, your hunters are your deadly frontline fighters. They cannot wear weapons and armor like your fighters and paladins. However, they have an instant hit kill. 1 hit, a foe dies. It goes up every level. Beyond 50, they can instant hit almost anything, especially from range. There's modifiers and dungeons with that too. However, through most of the games of the trilogies, I kill almost anything with a high level hunter. Next up are your monks. Monks are your frontline fighters. However, the higher their level is without any armor, the armor class drops, lower AC, less likely to even get hit. They can also hit very hard too, and I think they have some good high hit points too. They're another nice alternative as a frontline fighter. Some people do use in the Bard's Tale 3 and they are devastating. So next up is the two caster classes. There's a total of 4 caster classes in the Bard's Tale 1 game. However, we're going to cover the Conjurer and the Magician. Conjurer can conjure up summons, can conjure certain things up, items and such, which is very good. They can also do some, to extent, healing. They're a nice class to have for starting out. Really good caster class. In the old days, they used to use those classes either at start or the end. However, the new trilogy have items for wizards, so you can't do that. Next up, we are going to talk about is the Magician class. Magicians can make can affect actually physical objects, enchant sword, make armor stronger, make dungeons wall disappear. They're a great versatile class. They can also do some deadly nukes in the later on levels, which is pretty good if you like that. You should always have a magician and a conjurer in your party if you have 2 at least. So that's it right there. Now next up is the Sorcerer class that deals with illusions and also certain buffs in the game. Now in order to get the Sorcerer class, you need at least have either a Conjurer Magician with 3 spell levels, which is level 6. I advise getting that to level 13 before doing a class change. Now I did Conjurer 7 and Magician 7, so this way they'll get all the spells. Sorcerers are very powerful in the game. They have some nasty nukes and summonables if you have 1 through 6 slot. Next up is the Wizard. Requirements are 2 caster levels, at least spell level 3. However, I advise spell level 7. They could gate in enemies such as undead and demons, cast some nasty damage spells, also attack demons and undead, and they can also resurrect. It's not powerful, but still it's a great class to have. Next up, that is new to the Bard's Tale 2 game, exclusive to Bard's Tale 2 and 3, is the ArchMage class. You need all 4 caster class level, which is Conjurer, Magician, Sorcerer, and Wizard, at least spell level 3. I advise getting all 7 spells, because once you change over there, that's it for the ArchMage. They're one of the most powerful spell casters in the entire trilogy. Very useful, and it's required for Bard's Tale 2. Now, the first class that requires some requirements is the Chronomancer. Once you do a certain thing in the game, you have options of this class. They can teleport in between worlds, they have powerful spells. The change off is all your other spell class levels get dropped to 0 except for the Chronomancer. It's a powerful change for someone that can teleport in between worlds. Now the next one I'm going to talk about is the Geomancer. Another prerequisite. You do a special thing in the game, you get them. They have very powerful spells. However, the change off is its melees only be able to change into that. However, they lose their special abilities. For instance, hunters cannot crit hit no more when they become Geomancers. Bards cannot sing no more, and rogues cannot use their goodies no more. However, this is perfect for a paladin or a warrior. That's it for the classes in the Bard's Tale Trilogy game. Now, real quick, strength is great for your frontline fighters. More strength, more hard they hit in the front lines, such as your paladins, warriors, hunters, and monks. Also to agree, bards and rogues. Intelligence means more spell points they have for your casters. Dexterity means more first chance you get to hit. Lower armor class, which means your rogue and bard should definitely have that. Constitution means more hit points they have. Your frontline fighter should have that. Luck just means it's resistance, and that includes also avoiding traps. Now more hit points they have, more likely to survive. Spell points you don't see here means is more spell points, more likely they can cast spells. Also, you do not see here is to hit. More to hit means more likely to land blows. Evaluate your stats wisely. Now, real quick before I explain the UI, first of all, your experience level. When your experience level gets over a certain threshold, you go to a review board to level up. More on that later on. Second, your melee for your front line fires to hit is to hit, like I said before. However, items determines that. For instance, you could give a AC for to hit, more likely to land blows. Last but not least, get all your caster levels to level 13 character level, so they have a spell level to 7. Now, next up is the menu button right here. I'm covering only some of the basics. Now, there's your resolution, full screen, if you want to do that, and anything else neat. Now, go to your gameplay menu. You will not see this big screen at all. Instead, click on the check mark right there, large 3D. The viewpoint view screen will be larger, however, the text will be smaller. Also, when you exit the Adventure Guild for the first time, go through the mini tutorial to read. Take your time to read, and also go in buildings. There's tutorials there. There's your save and load. Save early, save often. And if you're in trouble, just load the game. Now, this cannot happen during Legacy mode. They disable that. Now, this button's where I am. This is for outside the dungeons. It tells you where you're at and the time of day. See? It tells us mid-morning. It shows us mid-morning. There's your cast your spell screen for your casters. You click that button, you can cast spells. There's your Bards songs right there to play a Bard song. For instance, Seeker's Ballad, one of my favorite songs in the game you could cast, which is really good. We'll do that right now. Maestro, please. Now, next up is use items. Use your party members' items. For instance, my Paladin has Kel's Compass, Kel's Magic Compass. When you use that, one charge will get dispersed, so be careful on items. Next up is Portal Up, Portal Down. If you have a levitation spell, then you can use a Portal Up, Portal Down. Otherwise, cast levitation via item or spell. Next one's your party attack. If your party members get charm one of them, you can beat them to death, and it's fun too. There's also a nice tactic too with everybody defends. Bard song keeps on playing, everybody defends, and that's it. Next up is your party order right there. It shows which party order you can switch. For instance, you accidentally put, say, a wizard in the front line and a paladin in the back line. Well, you'll reorder your characters from 1 through 7. So keep your melees in the front and your casters in the back. Last but not least, the 2 map items. This is your toggle your mini map. You don't like a mini map right there, get rid of it, or you can keep it. Next one's your map. It shows you your locations where they're at too. Now, I'm going to quickly show you a dungeon right here. Skull and crossbones. Red means traps. Watch out for that. That means you already discovered. Red sword means combat. There's also teleportation points. Now, circle means the party doesn't have a compass. Yellow arrow means they do. And there's also stair icons. Anti-magic with an A. Anything that looks darkness out, that's darkness. That means your torch gets snuffed while anti-magic gets rid of all your spells. With the exception of items. Use an item, it's good. Watch out for turncoat. It can turn their party members against each other if they don't have the proper resistance. Now, spinners can be very annoying, which spins you around. There's also secret walls, doors. Now, if there's one door that's half right there, it's a one-way door. Be careful of that. Yes, the Bard's Tale 3 is infamous for that to some degree, especially Bard's Tale 2 with some of the snares. So you need to be careful on that. Now, if you notice the UI screen earlier, there's a skull on there real quick. Well, that tells you if it's a negative or positive area. Now, negative is H right there, means it's red. The skull glows red. And the other one's positive, which is green. So next up, we're going to go over the spells. Now, real quick before I go into spells, I'm going to give only the spells you should highly recommend to use in the entire Bard's Tale trilogy. I'm going to leave some out, obviously, for great and wonderful surprises. So let's look at them all. Now, first up is Kel's Magic Compass, which is MACO, which means it give you a free compass to use so you don't get lost, north, south, east, and west. Second one is Locate Trap, which is LOTR. It locates traps within a few square feet. There's a more powerful version. I'm not telling you who has that. Third is Skyry Sight, which is SCSI, in case you get teleported or lost in a dungeon. Well, cast that immediately. Last one is Trap Zap, which is TRZP. Zap traps 30 meters in front of you, so make sure you cast that often. Next up is Levitation, which means it's a time cast spell. When it runs out, that is it, time's up. Major Levitation means is when you cast that, unlimited levitation. Buff levitation means you float up or down. Lesser Revelation means it's light spell. And a stronger version of light spell is Grave Revelation. There's other 2 ones like that, but they are weaker for now. Next up is Cat's Eye. It's much more powerful than the Revelation spells. Great news is it's a much wider range and it's unlimited unless you hit anti-magic floor or you go to Adventure Guild. Next up is the Second Sight. It reveals all, however, it has a time limit. Sorcerer Sight is an upgrade from Second Sight and it's unlimited, just like Cat's Eye can be dispelled by anti-magic or you go to Adventure Guild. Last but not least is the Phase Door. Phase is a wall, you go through it like it's a normal passageway. Doesn't work all the time, folks. Look at the skull for Phase Door warnings. Now next up is Yaba's Mystic Shield. This is the first of the entire party armor class. It helps out in, however, there's a time limit. Next one is Yaba's Mystic Coat of Arms. It's like the shield version, however, it's unlimited time limit until it gets dispelled or you enter the Adventure Guild. Now anti-magic absorbs all types of magic thrown at you. Great defensive spell in case you're in trouble. Doesn't work all the time though. Port Arcane, that means you can teleport in and out of the dungeon, however there's a limit. If you see the skull flashing saying you cannot port Arcane, that means you cannot teleport to. However, you can teleport from. Now Quick Fix means it's a healing spell, heals 8 hit points. However, this is a Bards Trilogy Remastered exclusive. Or if you're playing Legacy mode, Bards 2 and beyond. Now Words of Healing is a little bit more powerful than Quick Fix. Still, these are very good spells so far. First up is Flesh Restore. Heals 10 through 40 hit points. Also cures insanity and poison. Next up is Dispossess. Gets rid of possession of a character. Now Restoration is more powerful than Flesh Renew, which is Flesh Renew is a buffed up version of Flesh Restore, except for Restoration heals all hit points and gets rid of insanity and poison. Now beyond death, you'll get resurrected with 1 hit point. Now it's the following 3 sorcerer spells you should use at the beginning of each combat. Disbelief means any attacking illusions will instantly get dispelled. Disrupt illusions stops future illusions from appearing. Precursion, on the other hand, stops summons, however has an 8% chance of success. Overall, you should cast these 3 at the start of combat. First one is Baylor's Spellbind. That means it'll charm an enemy to your side. Great for Legacy mode since it's a 1 through 6 slot in the first Bards Tale game. Useless if you have the 7th slot filled. Arcfire is your first direct damage spell. It's alright until you find better. That's why I place it here as your first direct damage spell. Repeal Dead. It's good against a group of undead. Short distance, but great overall in the catacombs. War Strike does damage to normal enemies, such as a group spell. Great first group spell overall when you first get it. From the Conjurer tree is Shock Spear. Does 10 through 40 damage on a group of enemies. The Magician version is Star Flare, same thing. 10 through 40 on a group of enemies. Now, the Magician has a more powerful version called Dragon's Breath. Does up to 8 to 64 damage. They're great overall AoE spells until you get better. First up in the Sorcerer's pool of spells, that's AoE damage to all enemies. Magor's Mind Blade, 40 to 80 meters. However, it got nerfed in a few patches ago. After 40 meters, does less damage. Now, Ice Storm is a magician spell on a group of enemies. Does really a lot of damage. Good alternative on group spells. Warcome Wizard War does a bunch of damage for a wizard spell. Both Ice Storm and Warcome Wizard War is new to the Bards Tale 1 thanks to the remaster. Those are the 2 spells that belong in Bards Tale 2 or 3. Last but not least, for the known spells I am going to give out is the following. Far Foe, that means it's from the wizard tree, however it pushes foes far away. Far enough you can do some nuclear damage. Now the next 3 are summon spells if you decide to play Legacy mode. First of all, Wind Dragon is your first summon spell from the Sorcerer tree. You should do. Then the upgrade's Wind Giant, which is more powerful than a Wind Dragon. And the last but not least, which is awesome, is Summon Herb. Now there's other spells I am not going to give out. One is Ballet's Cleanfist. It's a heal song. This will help you out immensely, especially save you money on a few temples. Go into party attack, everybody defends, and the bard keeps on singing. Just keep on doing that and they'll get healed. Luck Aran is spell protection against casters, gives you nice resistance. Secret Valor gives you a light spell that cannot be dispelled by anti-magic, up chances to hit. Just watch out for silence panels because the song will go away, and darkness too on that. So let's get to the last two. I'm going to give basic advice on the Bard's Tale 1 song. Traveler's Tune gives you more AC, which lowers your armor class and be tougher to hit you. Now, Wayland Watch, foes do far less damage. You have trouble with foes, sing that song. Now, there are other songs you get to find or you pay for in the Bard's Tale 2 and 3. I'm not going to give that out. I want everybody to explore the options of that. That's it for the Bard songs. Now, my final advice for Bard songs and spells, experiment what you find. For instance, the Mage's Maelstrom Magus spell, it's a Sorcerer's level 7 spell that does 60 to 40 damage. However, any casters believe in illusion turns to stone or it kills them outright. Now, it's an illusion, it can get dispelled by enemies, which is spellable. Just remember, experiment with songs and spells in the game. It's very important. So, we're going to move to the next section in the video. When you first get in the Adventure Guild, start from the Adventure Guild, turn northward, and go north towards Guards, which is the woodlog building. Right there you can buy and sell items. Yes, you can. Now, the item is like this. Black means you could use, red means you cannot use. Now, you will not see these items I have in the game. Once you sell them to Guards, they will be there, which is very good until you carry on to the next Bard's Tale game. Or you get to Bard's Tale 3, which is a surprise on that too. But still, pick the right weapons and armor you want to do. Since you have limited gold when you start out, be considerate to everybody. Yes. Don't make your, say your warrior with full plate. Just trust me, don't do that. Instead, you go out. You'll find items in houses. Bust open houses too. Now, next up is your tavern for your bard. So order a drink, for instance, or a beer. They'll recharge their voice. If you need wineskins, buy that too. That is new from Bard's Tale 3. Talk to the barkeep for hints. Range from 100 to 1,000 plus to get the rightful hints in the game. Some good, some you'll discover on your own. Also, like I said before, I'll repeat again, explore houses when you first enter the first Bard's Tale game. You'll find some goodies. Next up is the review board. This is where you level. Advancement means you have enough experience points. That's when you level. There's an icon for that. Tells you enough for leveling. Next up is spell acquiring. If you're at 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and you have the cash, acquire new spells. Class change. Change from one caster class to another. Now, my advice is make sure you're at character level 13 and spell level 7, because this is permanent. You cannot go back. Now, this is the path you should go. Now, if you want to go for leveling, start from Guards and then go all the way down towards the gate. Avoid the samurai if you play the game for the first time. Go for spires like that. Go in the day. Now, if it's night, head to the Adventure Guild. It'll reset today. Remember that, folks. So, we're going to just do right now. I'm going to show you the temple. If you're in big trouble, go to the temple. It will help you out immensely. Yes. It'll cost gold, so be careful out there. Just remember that. Your first few levels, you might die. 1 through 3. After that, you should start easing into the night time. So your first 3 levels should be days, so you can visit the healers more often, since you will do that a lot for the first few levels. Once you get to 4 and 5, well, start nighttime here, and if you feel comfortable, go into the tavern and defeat the samurai first to get to the tavern. And buy the wine, just trust me, that'll be your first dungeon. And also very important, I'm going to show you Roscoe's real quick in case you want to recharge your spell points. And also identify items. Yes, they add that in there. The Trilogy Remastered edition, which they did a great job of. See? Identify magic items. Now, since my characters are fully healed up, well, guess what? They're fine on that. Now, let's talk about the newbie dungeons. Your first one is the cellar. I would advise doing that at level 5 to 7 in this game. Let's talk about the next one, Bard's Tale 2, real quick. Soon as you transport to the Bard's Tale 2, if you went the pure route where your characters are level 1, or you decide to skip to Bard's Tale 2, go to the Dark Domain at least at level character level 5, then explore the first floor until you at least get a class change going on. Let's talk about Bard's Tale 3. After you go to the review board in Bard's Tale 3 and get the password, go in the Catacombs. Now if you need help with the Catacombs, I advise level 5 for that. Explore the wilderness for that game. That's it for the newbie dungeons. Here's some final advice to help you all out. Paladins, warriors, bards, rogues, monks, and hunters should be in the front line. Wizards, sorcerers, magicians, conjurers, and Chronomancers in the rear, which is 5 through 7. Now, your Geomancer could be here anywhere. They're really powerful, just trust me. Invest in a Bard. They're very important for all 3 games. Trust me. Invest in 1 or 2 casters at least. Better yet, 2 casters. You're going to need an ArchMage for 2. Invest in a Rogue. I'd probably say either 2 or 3 if you're not playing the normal mode. If you're playing Legacy, of course. Now, if you're not playing Legacy, put that Rogue in the party. It helps out greatly. Farm for items in dungeons. When you explore a dungeon, see a new drop, go for it. Trap zap on traps. That's very important, folks. Trap zaps around here too, like the swirly here too. That's important too. Mark out territories on your map and remember them too. Also, another advice is run away if you need to. It helps. Now, if you're leveling for the first time, fight in the day. You feel comfortable, fight at night. Also, if you need help, go on YouTube or the game's forums. It could be NXL's forums or Steam or anywhere else like Good Old Games. There are wonderful people there. They'll help you. Last but not least, have a good time. This game is fun. So much fun. Well, that is it for my Don't Panic, the Bard's Tale Trilogy New Player Guide. This is Lord Fenton signing off. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.